This episode is supported in part by our friends on Patreon. To show your support, visit patreon.com/CodeMonkeyPodcast. Welcome to the Code Monkey Podcast, Season 3, Episode 16, brought to you by Wires. This week, Tesla's doing more not-car stuff, China's back in space, and the president is losing his Twitter account. Don't look now, but the placebo effect might be all in your head. I'm Kevin Giese, and with me, in spirit, it's Alex Bragdon. Woo!
Wow.
Thank you for joining me in spirit, Alex.
I'm not Alex, I'm Grover Cleveland.
Oh, right. Okay, so we're getting straight into this. I like it.
Well, no, I mean, you just got my name wrong. We can talk about whatever you like, but, at least try to get my name right.
I you know what? I'm an inexperienced interviewer. I apologize.
Yeah, well, no, you're the interviewee. So, tell us about your home life.
Well?
How do you think it influences your work?
Well, I mean, I work from home, so pretty directly, I think.
Right. Okay, but do you have, mental barriers that separate your home and your work?
No, I mean, I have physical barriers.
So you don't work from home, then?
No, I do work from home.
But you just said you had physical barriers between your work and your home.
Exactly. Like those little, those little kitty gates that you put up, at the top of the stairs, the kids don't come downstairs and stuff, on Christmas or whatever, too early and things like that. It's like those.
That always works.
Exactly.
You just let your children run free when they're, old enough to not unlock those gates, but, nothing else could possibly hurt them.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, you are clearly very eligible for our Parent of the Year award, which is what I'm interviewing you for.
Well, that's perfect. I had no idea that was what I was being evaluated on. I'm just an amazing parent naturally.
Well, that's me, Grover Cleveland, it's 24th President of the United States and interviewer.
I feel like you should be clutching lapels.
I do not own lapels.
You should get some lapels. Can we get this man some lapels?
Yes, we can, but it'll cost $800,000 to have it instantly shipped.
Wow.
You ready to pay that?
Amazon Prime was very expensive back in the day. Like a little historical fact that most people don't know.
Yeah, I'm actually recording this from the year 1888.
Yep.
So
the bandwidth
took quite a bit.
Hence the little bit of the bandwidth lag that we've been experiencing today.
We had to get a micro wormhole and basically route all the communication via a wire, which is why Kevin said it was presented via a wire.
Right.
Yeah.
Alex,
also because
we're actually transcoding Alex over telegraph.
Exactly.
Telegraphs are around Grover, right? That's approximately correct. Tech tree wise, right?
Yeah. 18. Yeah. They definitely had telegraphs by 1888.
Right.
They didn't have electricity, but they had telegraphs.
Right. What?
Which would
what?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. No.
Yeah. No, that's totally what it was.
That was fine. Okay. So Alex, why are you Grover Cleveland?
I mean, well, because 24 was an available number.
All right. Well, so there's a story here from the fine folks at Engadget, who I'm going to lambast immediately by saying that they have this is the top-notch investigative reporting that they think is most worthy of everyone's time. I'm going to read this snippet that Alex has posted in here. Or the nation's first social media president. Alex, you started the quote with "or." Thank you for that.
I think I miscopied it.
Or the nation's first... did you do... Okay, I need to explain how copy and paste works for you. I didn't realize you were physically typing in things over and over. Dude, you're going to be so productive once I teach you this one cool trick. Anyway, or the nation's first social media president, the peaceful transfer of power includes...
It's 4.
No.
The word is 4. I dropped it.
No, it's OR, Alex. I see it.
There you go.
Or the nation's first social media president, the peaceful transfer of power includes a little more than turning over the nuclear launch codes to the next commander-in-chief. It also includes, Alex, you just shifted the words. threw me off.
I did not.
You did.
I see.
It also includes handing over access to the official @POTUS Twitter account. According to the White House on January 20th, 2017, that handle and all of its 11 million followers will go to the nation's 45th president, while all of President Obama's tweets will be moved over to his new official former president account @POTUS44.
Yeah.
There's a second bullet point, follow POTUS 24. But I think rather than pimp out whoever that person is, I think everyone should go follow @Alex Bragdon immediately and show whatever support they may.
Also, go follow POTUS 77.
What? Stop adding things to the show notes. I can't keep up with this.
Why? Okay, yeah. So
what is POTUS 77?
@POTUS 77 is also me. So,
well, I mean, I guess that makes sense. You have POTUS and you have past POTUSes. You should have a future POTUS, just for parody.
Right. So eventually, if Twitter still exists,
which is also a very open question at the moment.
Yes, in 33 presidents from now, if Twitter still exists, I will by default become the president because
you will by default become the former president.
Okay, whatever. So I read this article on Tuesday morning when I woke up.
Yes.
And I was like, so they're moving everything to POTUS followed by the number of the particular presidency.
Right.
I wonder if they were smart enough to go and grab, like the first 100, sort of numbers. And no, they weren't. They were not smart enough to grab.
Not even like the past two numbers.
What?
POTUS 43 is a squatted account.
It's really bad. Yeah. Like, I was able to get
W is going to be mad, dude. He's going to be very upset. He's gonna have to call Twitter and be like, I don't understand it.
Yeah. So I just decided to become POTUS 24, which is Grover Cleveland. Right. Also POTUS 22, because Grover Cleveland is weird. But, whatever.
Actually, that's a good point. He is the only POTUS that can have two Twitter accounts.
Yeah.
That's pretty fantastic. What, do you have both of those accounts?
I don't.
Why? What is the point of being president in non-consecutive terms if you don't get to take advantage of some of those perks, Alex? I mean, Grover.
I mean, it wasn't two consecutive terms.
Do people named Grover go by some sort of hey, Grove? Like, is that a thing?
No, that's highly insulting. I'll have you thrown in federal prison if you say that.
Federal prison, okay.
Federal prison? Well, that's the only prison I have jurisdiction over.
Yeah, that's true.
Or maybe some sort of DC prison, but I don't know. It's messy.
But you have control of some extrajudicial.
Basically, you're going to Guantanamo if you call me that.
Pretty much.
That's all I'm going to say.
Extraterritorial detention.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Grover, you are the one who founded Guantanamo. Then was that during the first Grover term or the second Grover term?
No, I'll send you forward into the future.
Okay.
Forward into the future to Guantanamo.
Let POTUS 77 take care of me.
Yeah. POTUS 77. So POTUS 77. I don't know why I got POTUS 77. I just did.
Okay.
Because it was just repeating numbers that were available.
Yeah, but
were above 44.
And not 88.
So you're
going to pick repeating numbers.
I don't know. I might have tried 66 and that wasn't available.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't remember what I was thinking early Tuesday morning when I read this article and was just trying to grab as many Twitter accounts as possible before someone else had this idea.
I'm surprised you don't have a script to just do that. Just an auto squat.
Just acquire all available Twitter handles, which will freeze Twitter growth because all Twitter handles less than 16 characters are mine.
4 I equals 0, I plus 1.
Yeah.
Curltwitter.com/register.
As many POTUS accounts as possible.
Exactly.
Or as many Twitter accounts as possible.
Well, no, this is one of the things that I really like about having a personal domain is that I can register various things at just like, because there's sort of the hack of like, if you have, like I have kevingeesey.com and my email is kevin@kevingeesey.com, but I can also say like stuff related to the Code Monkey podcast. I can just say that's Code Monkey Podcast at kevingeesey.com, and I can just have it all go to me, and then that's always easily filterable. But then I can do the same thing with Twitter accounts. So you could just have, POTUS21 at alexbragdon.com, POTUS22.
Well, actually, you can share email address. No, you can share phone numbers across.
You can share phone numbers, but you can't share email addresses. There's an exclusivity.
I did set up a couple of random email addresses on my domain to hoard these. They're not like unique. They're just like Alex Spam 1, Alex Spam 2, I think. Those are just some generic ones I use on things when I don't want to. They just forward directly to my trash. I will never read anything if you send me something at alex_spam@alexbragg.com.
Well, so Alex, I haven't clicked through to this article because I don't know. I'm just not that into investigative journalism.
There's nothing else really in that.
Oh, okay. Well, I am curious though what this means as far as do they rename POTUS to POTUS 44 and then they create a new POTUS account and then they give access to that person? What happened?
I have to imagine that's what's going to happen, but I don't know for certain.
Okay.
I mean, it's maintained by the National Archives, so either the National Archives are just going to have a script that will copy over all of Obama's tweets, or they're just going to swap handles.
You know what I think would be really, really cool? Would be to discover that like Obama himself, like personally, had a separate Twitter account. It was just his personal Twitter account.
He does have one of those.
No, but like a one that no one had just happened to like stumble upon the whole 4 years, and it's just him ranting like, "God, Joe's being such a tool." Like, like random.
Yeah,
tweets
but like not saying Joe Biden. It's like Joe.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh,
just
if I've ever
like just uncover this Twitter account that's just a trip down memory lane. Freaking Vlad's up to it again. Like, will this guy never stop? What the hell? Like,
yeah. No, I agree. I think I'll do that next time I'm in office.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to it.
77th president of the United States, Alex Bragdon.
So, Alex, I think we've sort of skipped over some certain things now that Grover has the Grover story has been happening. How are you doing? How has your week been? We forgot the whole human interest side of things. We normally ease into the podcast, but no, not this time.
Pretty relaxing being dead.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah. I don't know. I've started going to the gym a lot now that I'm dead. Free time.
That should help.
So I'm a little sore.
Yeah.
But keep in shape. Yep. Being dead.
Very important. Definitely very important.
How about you? How are you?
Not keeping in as much of shape, but I am doing well.
Why not? Why aren't you keeping in good shape, Kevin?
I don't know. I'm not dead. That's part of the. I don't have the advantage.
It does free up a lot of time being dead. Yeah. I'll agree.
So
I mean, I don't know. Well, what else do dead people do? We eat crisps. Actually, it's a common notion that dead people don't eat crisps, but we do. Of course,
you realize that in America, no one knows what crisps are.
I mean, I'm in America. I'm a president. I'm like one of the most American people to have ever lived.
Wow. They're called crisps. I am offended. How dare you imply you are more American than I am? This is getting way too political. Let's move on to another story. Speaking of politics.
About politics.
Civilization Vim.
With Grover Cleveland will defeat Gandhi.
Can you play as Grover Cleveland in Civilization?
There's mods you can play.
Oh, really?
Well, at least in Civ 5.
Okay.
In Civ 5, you can just create custom leaders and be like, and they're like available on this like the official mod store for Civ.
Can you import? I don't know. Can you set up your own like texture maps and stuff?
Yeah,
so
people have modded that.
You can like so you could literally just be like Alex Bragdon is the leader of the Bragdonians.
Yeah. And I could have a special
put
unit.
Your face in it and stuff.
And it's all official. It's distributed via Steam. Like,
that's awesome.
It was one of the first games to support.
I played Civilization 5 a little bit. I was really, really into Alpha Centauri when that came out. And I remember it was similar in that you could, like, the entire game was just configured via plain text files. You could just copy and paste like any faction and then just, oh, look, there's another faction in the game with these different details. You could change all the art assets and do whatever you wanted. And obviously there wasn't like a mods. No, we hadn't invented APIs or like good programming at the time. But everything was just as open.
Sure, and that was really, it's cool. Like that, except even easier because you just scroll through the Steam like workshop thing, and you're like, I want this mod, and I want this mod, and I want this mod. Super cool. I love Civ 5. I've clocked in like 200 plus hours on Civ 5.
Well, yeah. So I wanted to ask you about this because you are a civilization-addict. Civ-addict.
Yeah, I played a lot. But I haven't played Civ 6 yet.
What are you? So not having played it, what are your thoughts on the gameplay of Civ 6, Alex?
I literally know. I've seen like a 10-minute YouTube video about it. I know almost nothing about it.
What are your thoughts on the hype though? Because there are some reviews that are saying like this is the most fully featured, amazing game to be released this year.
Yeah,
which is pretty impressive.
I am really excited to play it, but I'm been very busy being dead.
Right, naturally.
So it's been hard
you should play it. It's good.
Hard to get up, but when Thanksgiving break rolls around, maybe next weekend, not this coming weekend, I'll get it set up. Part of it is I don't want to install it on my laptop because I'm getting a new laptop over Thanksgiving break. So,
right.
Set up things.
Which, what sort of magic touchpad-y things are go along with Civilization? If you were going to design your MacBook trackpad LCD display thingy to make
OLED, not LCD.
LCD display thingy
to make
OLED. LCD display thingy to make Civilization
OLED.
more utilitarian. What would you add to your LCD display to make Civilization easier?
Just one button, fire all the nukes.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I feel bad. So I grew up with the Age of Empires. So I was used to not turn-based stuff for the most part.
Yep.
Alpha Centauri was kind of the exception for me. I had friends who played Civilization, but I never got into it for whatever reason. I played Civ 5 for a while, and I'm trying to get back into Civ 6, and I'm just like, I don't remember a lot of these things. They're like, oh, they need more housing. And I'm like, build a house. But
housing is new. Housing is new.
And
you wouldn't remember housing.
Various there's amenities. Like, we'll build more porta potties. And they're like, no, that's not a thing you can do either. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know how to do this. And I'm feeling dumb.
So a lot of those sound like the new mechanics that I know nothing about. So can't really suggest anything for you. Just build spaceships. I find that spaceships are the best things to build.
Weird. I haven't encountered that button. You're going to have to show me where that button is. Kevin,
that's literally one of the victory methods.
Yes, okay,
you build a spaceship. Okay. I just double checking.
Well, actually, I'm trying to remember. At one point, I think it's in Civilization. I don't remember which Civilization it was on. Because I played before 5. I don't remember when I played.
4 Beyond the Sword was,
but you could play. You eventually got to a point where you had the single layer map, and then you had an underwater map, and then you had a sky map.
What?
So you could toggle which layer you were in once you got to like the flying phase or something.
That is well. And I don't remember an underwater. I don't remember an underwater map.
Once you had submarines, basically you had a 3-layer.
But
like a cake, Alex.
I've already
remembered a cake. You know how you have cakes and you have you stack.
At least in Civ 4.
Okay.
Like obviously the planes have a slight. I wouldn't call it a different map. It's just that you click on the airport and you get sort of like a list of the planes at that airport. And submarines just acted like boats. It didn't have a new map in Civ 4. I don't know about 1 through 3. My dad could answer that, but I don't know. I don't want to call him.
Fair enough.
But back in high school, my friends and I used to play a lot of 2 games. We used to play a lot of Civ 5 Beyond the Sword, or Civ 4 Beyond the Sword, sorry. Mm-hmm. And we used to play a lot of Star Wars, I don't remember the name of it. Forces of Corruption was one of the expansions for it.
I don't remember this at all.
No, it was so it's a real-time strategy. It was very much like StarCraft or Age of Empire. But it was just like Star Wars, and you had awesome. Space battles and ground battles. It's horribly balanced. Like the Empire almost always wins because the way they balanced it was they made the Empire better at space battles and the Rebellion better at ground battles. But the Empire can build the Death Star and just blow up all the ground, and then they just win because it's just space battles, which they're better at.
Well, see, this is the thing that I remember really, really liking about the original Age of Empires series. Kind of 1 and 2 is that you could have you could have adventures where like you would play and then be completely overwhelmed, but like escape with like 3 villagers, and then win the game 5 hours later. Like,
sure, you could totally do that.
Awesome.
Star Wars Empire at War. That's the name of the game. Empire at War.
Okay.
That
was definitely not the case with other like I come back to games. I'm like, no, this is one where like, oh no, I was too much of a noob at the beginning. the game's over. I might as well just quit.
No,
now.
yeah, Empire at War is fairly friendly like that.
I think like I played Age of Mythology because that was another of the Age of Empires series things, and it was released much more recently. And I got into it. And it's basically they have sort of a game ending mechanic that once you've gotten to the fourth age or whatever it is that they have, you eventually like construct an Uber Titan, and then your Titan can just one shot everything. So basically, unless it's basically like firing the nukes. So it's like it forced the game to be over, and there was basically the game could never wax and wane. It was your game is time boxed within an hour and a half of gameplay. Period. And I felt like that was not. I guess maybe that's a good design decision. But for me, I really liked the idea that like I could be terrible at the beginning of the game and learn how to play better and come back and be and that you could have things like that, or that I could fail to convert somebody and then they could escape with a few villagers and then come back and become a total threat because I ignored them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it definitely depends on like the play style of the people you're playing against at Empire at War, because as I said, you can build the Death Star, but building the Death Star is actually a bit of a huge liability for the Empire because
of the exhaust port.
Right. So and that auto loses for the Empire. So you can build the Death Star and go around and blow up planets, but the cost of that is that
shouldn't auto lose. It should auto lose if it happens twice.
No. Because it's set during the first movie, the time period of the first movie. So there's an expansion that progresses the time period up to the second or the third movie, where you can build the second Death Star. Mm-hmm. But so like you can choose to not build if no one builds the Death Star, then basically it's literally just killing either Mon Mothma or the Emperor. So that's the only end condition for the game. Okay. So if the Emperor dies, then the Emperor loses, obviously. If Mon Mothma dies, then the rebellion loses, and that's it. That's basically the only win-lose conditions, unless someone builds the Death Star, in which case blowing it up will win the game for the rebellion. Okay. So interesting. I mean, there's a bit of balance in that. I enjoyed the game. I played it a few times like recently. I don't think it's as good as I remember it being, but it's still fun.
I'm also curious, what is how do you do, and this is coming from someone who has never played StarCraft. By the time I knew StarCraft was a thing, there were heavily competitive StarCraft players, and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere near that. Like that seems like a recipe. That's like, hey, you should go hang out on 4chan. Like, no, I'm not going anywhere near this game. This sounds dangerous. How do you handle space maps?
They're big, just empty things with nebulas and like rocks.
Are you dealing with a flat hex map, or do you deal with 3D hexes?
No. It's not even. It's not turn based. This is real time.
Oh, sorry. So no, but I mean for non-real time. If you were going to do Civilization set in space,
I have no idea.
Okay,
but this is real time, and it's basically just a 2D plane that just goes from end to end. And like you move slower when you're going through nebulas and through asteroid fields, but like in nebulas, you're also
still get
more
terrain
hidden
mechanics and stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, it's fun.
Fair enough. But, no, I'd just be curious to see like I would love to see how you manage like a hex map type of thing in 3D space. Because I think it'd be cool. It'd probably be awful gameplay wise.
Yeah. Yeah. You just build like dodecahedrons.
But then it always like it's the Wrath of Khan thing, right? Where like all of a sudden it occurs to them. No. No, that's the Search for Spock.
No.
No, oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Now, what am I talking about?
Never
mind. I know.
He goes, Khan!
I know. What am I?
I said no because...
no, but where it suddenly occurs to them, like, wait a second, we could just go up a little bit, and then we're totally fine. They're doing this whole submarine hunt, and they're like, oh, wait a second. Yeah, but anyway.
We have 3D space.
Civilization VI. I am enjoying the heck out of it. I wish I had more time to play it. I've only been able to play like an hour.
WQ.
W, yeah, exactly. Well, no. W, enter, SP, enter,
what are you?
VSP.
What? What are you doing?
I'm creating a whole bunch of extra splits. Anyway.
Why?
So I can Vim more Vim while I Vim.
No, just write and quit. That's all you need to do.
All right. Anyway, Alex, how many people are in space right now?
857,577,805 divided by X.
Alex, how many Terrans are in space right now?
All of them.
No, that's not correct.
Yes, we're in space right now.
Alex, how many Terrans are past the Armstrong limit?
Well, it depends on where Armstrong is standing right now.
All right. The answer may surprise you after these messages. Alex, share some messages with our listeners.
Right now, you can buy a $500 coupon to Tomatoes R Us for only $12.95. Just come on down to Nalgene Bottles Limited, Incorporated on 507 8th Street in New York. 507
8th Street is a real place. They have
I know. That's
really
where
good
Nalgene... Yeah, and Nalgene bottles.
Right. Well, because you've got to hydrate, because the bagels sort of dry you out.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. No, the reason I ask that, Alex, is because how many you know how many people are generally on an ISS expedition?
Well, somewhere between none and 500.
Well, the correct answer is generally 6. Though that has to happen across 2 different rockets because the Russians have not figured out how to space shuttle.
Okay.
Granted, their Soyuz, it still works, so we don't really have any place to criticize them.
Well, the space shuttle would still work. We just didn't pay for it. So put it in mothballs.
Yes. But anyway, so they send up in sets of 3, and generally they will send up one crew generally the missions run for 3 months. And so they'll send up one crew, and then halfway later they'll send up another. So there's a bit of time. There's one crew that's sort of the transitional crew, and so there's always sort of rotating staff of between 3 and 6, usually 6 and 3 being sort of the between when half of them had landed and the replacements arrive. Yeah. But if you go to howmanypeopleareinspaceriightnow.com,
and you're listening to this podcast within seconds of it uploading.
Within a while.
Well, it depends on how many seconds.
For the next 17 days.
I said seconds.
No, for the next 13 days. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, right.
Which is some arbitrary number of seconds. Yes, it is a very large number of seconds, but a number of seconds.
But not that large a number of seconds, to be honest.
More than 5, Alex. It's more than 5 seconds.
Sure, but it depends on what your relative frame is.
It also depends on when I upload it too.
Yeah, there's so many variables here that you can't say I'm wrong.
We shouldn't even bother having the discussion. We're totally unqualified. But here is the answer, Alex. Also, I love this site. It's just so simple. Just how many people... Also, there's an app in case the site is too complex for you to figure out. The answer is 5. And if you look here, there's only one American in space right now. But he's in charge. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, exactly. No, there are 2 Chinese astronauts in space right now. Which is awesome. Cool. They've been in space for 18 days. They're the most senior. Actually, no, I take that back. There are 2 commanders. And Jing Haipeng, which I'm totally not pronouncing correctly, I'm assuming, is the commander with the most experience at 18 days. So I think he's in charge of space right now. He is, in charge of space. Okay.
All right.
So that's pretty cool.
All right.
I don't know. It's exciting. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's weird because we don't, as much as you want to be interested in space, we don't find out much about what's going on in China. But a Chinese Long March 2F rocket, which is also I have no idea what that means. I know what a Soyuz is. Anyway, 2 astronauts, launches 2 astronauts into orbit aboard the Shenzhou 11 spacecraft from Jiuquan Satellite Center on October 17th, Beijing time. Yeah. I don't know why they mentioned the time when they just gave the date. That's interesting. Kicking off a 30-day mission to the country's new Chang'e 2 Space Laboratory module. So we talked about this briefly, that there was the one that they're it's going to crash at some point, just FYI. They've since launched the second one. They launched it in September. And and they have now launched 2 astronauts. During the 30-day mission, Jing and Chen will carry out a number of medical and space science experiments, as distinguished from regular science experiments, as well as test various systems. You have like space hypotheses, space data, space confirmation.
Space data is the best.
You have to worry about space bias. It's a big issue. As well as test various systems on the Chang'e 2 module. They will also engage in public outreach activities. Sticking your arms out the window.
They're going to drop pamphlets from orbit.
Including serving as
That's an interesting question. Could you throw a paper airplane from the International Space Station and have it reach the planet without burning up?
But no.
Why not?
I mean, they did golf from the ISS.
Did the golf ball burn up?
Yes. That's what happens with orbits when there's atmosphere,
but
Alex.
It's so light. What if you just dropped a piece of paper? It's not moving that fast.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It really is.
It won't compress that much air. How about a balsa wood glider?
I welcome you to try it out.
Okay. I'm going to send a balsa wood glider to the ISS.
But I think this is cool because like I watched the last ISS landing, and I was just sitting there and I was watching.
The ISS can land?
Yeah. It's just, chilling out and then taking off, refueling.
Wow.
No.
Why do we need the space shuttle then?
No, I watched the last Soyuz landing. And it occurred to me, like, I'm sitting here and I'm watching a live feed of Baikonur, which, thinking about when I was born, and they were like, hey, Soviet Union just kind of barely not existing anymore. I mean, Soviet Union theoretically fell after I was born, timeline-wise. And the idea that now I can just be like lazy sitting on my couch and being like, oh, I'm just going to turn on the TV and like live stream stuff from the Russian space program. That's weird. If you go back and like talk to like the Apollo guys, you'd be like, hey, by the way, I'm just like watching what's going on in the control room. That'd be like, that's weird.
Give me access to your spies.
Exactly. But for China, it's more just like, oh, wow. Yeah, okay. I guess they've got astronauts up there right now. That's weird.
We should send them a gift card.
Yeah. Or at least like one of those little 10 punch ticket things. Go to space 10 times, go free. Something.
Wow, that's a really good value.
Right? It would be. Well,
I was thinking like a free coffee or something at the NASA cafe.
Oh, fair enough.
Something more, useful.
But I like the idea that we have 2 space stations right now. That's cool.
I want them to merge and become Megatron.
And it would also be pretty cool.
In space.
Oh, okay. I assumed you wanted them to both land.
No.
You sure? They're just a powered landing of both of them? And then, yeah.
No. I want Space Megatron.
Okay. Fair enough.
Also,
Alex, did you watch the solar roof announcement?
No, I don't have a roof.
Okay. Neither did I. But Tesla will build and sell its own line of solar panels to combine with its battery storage system, the company announced at a press event at Universal Studios. The system will allow residential homeowners to replace their entire roof with solar panels connected to an updated Powerwall 2 battery pack, making it much simpler for homes to be entirely powered by solar power. The Powerwall 2 can store 14 kW of energy with an additional 5 kW continuous power draw and 7 kW peak. The battery is warranted for unlimited power cycles for up to 10 years. It can be floor or wall mounted inside or outside. It can be used for load shifting or backup power.
Question. Question.
Yeah? Kilowatt hour estion?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I build my house out of these, like the batteries? So they can be mounted to a wall. Mm. Can they be load-bearing walls?
That is an interesting question. And no, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the weight is.
They're pretty dense. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to use them as like the ceiling.
Well, here's the other thing. Do you think about like how they're like, hey, you can't bring a Samsung phone on a plane anymore because that tiny little battery is gonna like completely murder you. The idea of having something this big in your house or constructing a house out of it.
In your garage, I mean, yeah, maybe building a house out of it might be a poor choice, but like having one in your garage, I mean, it's no more. I mean, think about it. You have a car full of like gasoline in your garage, right?
I do not. That is dangerous,
people,
Alex. What
like
sort
comparatively
of
speaking, you have a giant tank of gasoline about the size of this Powerwall,
right,
which is far more likely to explode than the Powerwall would ever be.
Is that true?
Yes.
The Samsung phones, I think, explode at a greater frequency than cars.
I think more cars have exploded in the same length of time than Samsung phones.
Not per capita, but per unit.
I would wager per unit, yes.
You think so?
I do think so.
I'm gonna request that you fetch data for us before next week, so we can compare the per unit.
Add it to next week's show notes so I remember. We'll follow up with dead Grover Cleveland on the exploding Samsung phones, former president.
So obviously this is Tesla doing more not car stuff and doing stuff that's...
well, no, this is them buying Solar City.
Well, maybe. They're still not entirely sure what's going on with that.
Well, that
keeps
regulated.
installing.
Yeah, but even if they don't buy Solar City will just like sell them all their stuff and then close. Like,
right.
They'll figure it out.
They're doing a lot of business, and they were doing business before there was talk of merger anyway.
Like they'll basically be the same company no matter what happens.
The frustrating thing though is that like you can you can make an announcement about whatever sort of solar panel stuff that you want. What they didn't announce was any sense of price point.
Sure.
Which, like, so cool. Having, and they showed a bunch of different designs. They've got solar panels that look like roofs, and that you can have different styles of solar panel roofs, and that's cool.
So do you understand Solar City, one of Solar City's primary business models, though?
To sell electricity.
Exactly. They don't sell solar panels, they sell electricity.
Yes.
So you sign a thing which lets them install solar panels on your roof. And then they do that for free. But you agree for the next 20 years to buy electricity from them at a certain rate. So that rate is usually lower than the rate that you get from the power company.
Right.
So you buy the electricity that those solar panels that they installed in your roof for free produce at such and such a rate.
Right.
So, but you're right. These are more like build your roof out of them.
Right.
Rather than like attached to your pre-existing roof.
I think this is a different model, at least given what I've read, that they're trying to approach this as you make the investment and you reap the rewards from it type of thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to identify people from that. But I feel like you can't. In fact, it's almost worse. Like, to me, if you said like, hey, we've got the solar panel, you came out and you're like, hey, we were developing the solar panel, it's going to look really crappy, but it's going to be able to basically replace your roof tiles, and it's strong, and it's going to, that's pretty cool. I'd be like, okay. And then they're going like, and it's going to be super fancy and luxury and blah, blah, blah. Then I feel less inclined to be excited about it. Like, the more you hype it up, the more expensive it is in my head. And the more that you're not giving a price point just seems really, really, really terrifying.
I argue that they haven't decided on a price point yet, which is why they didn't announce it.
Yeah.
And they're trying to gauge sort of reaction and try to figure out costs and try to drill all that.
And maybe this is just me though, but like I would buy solar panel roofing that was ugly as sin if they'd be like, it's $50. Well, you can have a roof. Like, definitely. For me, the price point is such a huge, like, I would argue using solar is such an obvious win that it's why do I care about the price point? That's the thing I care about. I don't want you to make it fancy. I don't want you to spend any extra money trying to make it look nice. I just want you to keep the price point as low as possible.
100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you, but I think we're the minority. I think there are a lot of people who don't have solar panels because they look ugly. I honestly do.
Really?
Yep.
But it's on the roof. You don't have to look at your roof.
Yeah, people look at the roofs.
Stay in your homes, people. It's dangerous outside.
Yeah.
There's ozone everywhere, particulate matter.
On another note, the two homes that they showed off, like the Powerwall, if you go to tesla.com/energy, there's two homes. There's the Powerwall home, which is and the solar roof home. Those are both my dream homes. Those homes are so good. Yeah, look at that home. Look at it. It has a big open thing in the roof and like glass and corners and like wood paneling and like a really good view of something. I don't know what it is, but it's like mountains. And then you have like this other home. It's a very modern. Like stone
no, this would be like my nightmare.
Like, look at those glass. Like, look at that floor to ceiling glass.
Exactly.
It's like an Apple store.
This is a floor to ceiling, like huge amount of light, bright, open spaces.
I love that.
No, it's absolutely the worst.
I want this like fake
completely and utterly disagree with you. This is the worst. If you were going to design a home to make me just feel incredibly exposed and uncomfortable and not able to code at all, I want like a very dark.
Well, go to the basement. So Kevin, why don't we go?
Pretty much.
Why don't we become roommates? We'll get this home. We'll build a basement, and then you can live in the basement, and I'll live in the uptown.
I would definitely do that. Like I would live in an underground home, like no question. I am absolutely down for that.
Why didn't you move to Montana then? They turned that nuclear bunker into a
That's
home.
True. That is an option.
Why didn't you do that?
I don't know. I wasn't thinking.
Silly Kevin. Silly Kevin.
But no, so I mean it's a cool thing.
So Kevin, I'm confused.
Yes. What are you confused about?
A totally different topic.
Okay.
Toasters did not unplug the internet.
Okay, so yeah, Alex is referring to the show notes. So I was asleep for all of this, but apparently all of the internet went down forever.
You were asleep from 8 in the morning to 6 in the evening?
Oh, pretty much, yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, pretty much that was close. I mean, I think I got up at like 4 in the evening, but yeah, pretty much. I woke up and then apparently, yeah, a lot of the internet had apparently been down, and I was like, oh, weird. I don't know.
Okay.
But Scientific American reports that last week's distributed denial of service, DDoS attacks, in which tens of millions of hacked devices were exploited to jam and take down internet computer servers. Like jam, like Spaceball style? Thank you for going there as well. Okay, good. We have similar sense of humor. I understand why we're friends. This is an ominous sign for the Internet of Things, which is a terrible... okay.
I don't care.
What?
I said I don't care. Move on. It's a term.
A DDoS is a cyber attack in which large numbers of devices are programmed to request access to the same website at the same time, creating data traffic, which is not entirely accurate, creating data traffic bottlenecks that cut off access to the site. In this case, not necessarily even data traffic bottlenecks. In this case, the still unknown attackers used malware known as Mirai to hack into devices whose passwords they could guess because owners either could not or did not change the device's default passwords.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
that's what happened. But
toasters unplugged the internet.
There are not smart toasters. Show me one commercial smart toaster. Look it up. A toaster that you can control from the internet. Kevin is currently searching.
I'm just clicking on the first link.
Searching in vain.
There you go. Smart toaster.
Yeah, but does it have Wi-Fi?
Yes.
Does it?
I have no idea.
Show me. Like,
fine.
That's the requirement. You need to show me a toaster with Wi-Fi for me to even begin. If you can show me a toaster with Wi-Fi, then okay. But why would a toaster have Wi-Fi? What could you possibly do?
The same thing you do with a coffee maker with Wi-Fi.
You'd have to leave your bread in it overnight.
Amazing.
It would get all stale.
Wi-Fi gadgets, toaster.
It would get all stale.
I'm gonna find this.
Like, there is. You could preload it with bread, let it sit for 8 hours.
Here we go, Alex. The bread toaster that burns the weather forecast on your toast.
Click on it. It's going to be a DIY.
No, it's not. It's totally
unless you can buy it. Unless you can go buy it.
I will pay the person and buy this toaster. But that answers your question about use case. Oh, see, it is so popular that the site is down. So many people want this product, Alex, that I can't even purchase it anymore.
No one wanted it, so they went out of business. That's the more plausible explanation. But no, toasters did not take down the internet. It was security cameras.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, mostly, from what I understand.
Interesting.
It was mostly people buying cheap security cameras that they could just put around their house. Mm-hmm. And there was like one brand of security camera which has been recalled that literally you could not change the root password on. It was like hard coded into like not even the firmware, but like some like ROM read-only memory portion.
There are a lot of people who also will not change the default passwords on routers, or at least the reset passwords on routers, which is sort of understandable, or at least sympathizable.
Sure. I mean,
it's a big pain. That's one where ideally the router manufacturer could set individual passwords for all the devices and just print it on a sticker rather than having a hard thing for the device.
Well, that's what they do nowadays.
But there are a lot of routers that are not.
Yeah. I mean, and to be fair, that may be on a lot of high-end routers, which are the only type I usually
I do sort of wonder, though, every time these sort of things happen, people go, oh my God, it's all of the smart things. This is terrible. It doesn't feel like that's the case. I feel like you could probably take down the internet with just regular computers. Like having bad security on devices is a problem, but it feels like when these things happen, people will go like, well, this is what happens when we decide we want to put Wi-Fi on everything. Well, it's not really a question of scale. It's a question of they're going after the devices that happen to be insecure. If the devices were not insecure, then hack into every other thing and start sending traffic from there as well.
I almost agree with you, except for two reasons. Okay. One, most consumers are switching away from desktop systems to laptops.
Right.
Which are a lot more inconvenient for that type of thing because they're oftentimes just asleep.
Right.
And like they're not on, they're
not connected. Right.
Yeah. And then playing off that, like, most people who have desktops, again, won't have them on all the time for power conservative reasons. Whereas these Internet of Things devices, you can have 5 or 6 of them in a home and they will all always be on.
Right. Although I think part of, I mean, I agree with you, but you're also one of the reasons that we're pulling away from having computers that are always on as the way that we interact on a, having desktops that, be always powered or whatever. One of the reasons that we're able to move away from that is because there are a lot more resources in, quote, the cloud, which is somebody else is turning a computer on and leaving it on for us.
Right.
Then we have thin clients that we connect to, and then those become targets as well. And in fact, they become very tempting targets because they generally have to have pretty decent bandwidth to begin with because that's what their job is.
Right. But most of those services are like Amazon and Google and Apple and Netflix, which is also Amazon, and like all of that stuff. So
hey,
like,
be nice to Microsoft. Let's throw them a bone.
Microsoft.
Here, all right? They at least had the decency to develop better MacBooks than Apple did. So we should throw them a bone and mention them in this podcast.
And I will fight you to the death on that.
You know what they've discovered, Alex?
What
is that you can put more than 16 gigs of RAM into a laptop. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, but not a Surface Book. You can't order a Surface Book with more than 16 gigs of RAM. I don't think. But like, I blame Intel for that.
Okay. You can blame whoever you want, man.
Their CPUs do not by default support low power DDR4 32 gigs of RAM. They just do not. So you have to do other special things to get that much RAM into the computer, and that those things take a lot of energy.
It was interesting to note, though, that the specs are worse on the Macs than they were last year.
But they're not. What are you talking about?
Anyway, we've discovered the placebo effect.
Explain that. No, explain that. You just claimed that the MacBook year over year got worse.
Using functional magnetic resonance brain imaging, fMRI, scientists at Northwestern Medicine and Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago, RIC, have identified the first time the region of the brain that's responsible for the placebo effect in pain relief. It is an area in the front part of the brain called the midfrontal gyrus that also plays a key role in our emotions and decision-making. This is impressive stuff, Alex. The use of fMRI, or fMRI, images to identify those placebo responders and eliminate them from clinical trials could make future research far more reliable. Could also lead to more targeted pain therapy based on patient brain images instead of a trial and error approach that exposes patients to ineffective and sometimes dangerous medications. This shocks me, Alex.
That the placebo effect is just like a thing in the brain.
Well, no, I mean, it's a thing in the brain, but just the idea that like it's a thing in a specific part of the brain, and
well,
that
of course it is.
You can like zap that part of the brain and be like, yeah, no placebo for you.
I mean, everything
also,
is in a different.
How do you do a clinically controlled trial? About the placebo effect.
You tell them you're zapping the part of the brain, but you zap a different part of the brain.
No, but how do you distinguish placebo effects from placebo effects, Alex, is my question.
Placebos. Placebo. You just use a placebo.
I don't know. Isn't that, am I crazy for thinking that's weird?
No.
Okay.
You're not crazy, but
I think
you're more excited about it than I am.
No, this is really cool. I mean, the idea that we could
so yes.
The whole idea is that, especially if the placebo effect happens to be particularly pronounced for a thing, we have to we have to have huge sample sizes to figure out if something works, because people are jerks and they'll just get better for no reason.
Yeah.
And if we were able to just identify, like, oh yeah, they got better, but also they were experiencing fake brain drugs. I'm imagining now that the midfrontal gyrus is just like this meth lab in your brain. That's like, you know, it'd be fun. Let's mess with this dude. Let's give him.
Okay, so the question that I have,
let's give him antidepressants for no reason, and it's just like this total drug pusher inside your brain. Go like, let's just turn these knobs and see what the heck happens.
Yeah, your brain is just a bunch of like knobs and control. It's like a steampunk enterprise like engineering room.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Just a bunch of buttons and levers.
I really hope now that the new Star Trek series is just Star Trek but steampunk.
Okay.
Like just have engineering be like all these gears. It'd be
like that episode of Doctor Who.
Exactly. Yes. No, I want that. I want it very badly. Okay. Please let me have that, Alex.
I will do everything in my power to make that happen.
Alrighty. How much of that is in your power?
None of it.
Alrighty.
But so my question about this is that can't we just zap that center of the brain to fix literally everything?
That is also
so just stimulate it.
Very
to just
good
like
question.
Keep stimulating it until it does what you want it to do and you're fixed.
Well, I remember that there was a point where there was an article last year, and we may have even talked about this on the show, that placebo effects worked even if you knew about the placebo effect. Even if you knew that you were taking a placebo.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, hey, Alex, eat this sugar tablet. It will do nothing to make you feel better. And you're like, I feel better. It's amazing.
No. Well, no. I think you could say it was placebo. This is eat this sugar tablet. It's totally placebo, but it'll make you feel better anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Like, I think knowing that it's a placebo, but still being told that, like, it'll have these effects.
Right. Yeah. I think that's right.
I don't know. But that kind of makes sense because if you just say it won't do anything, then it probably won't do anything. But I think it's the anticipation,
right?
It's like, oh, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Placebos are weird.
They are. Well, but they noticed that people who had a larger placebo center generally had a better placebo response.
Can I have yours then? Can I just steal everyone's?
Placebo center at all.
Cram it in my
exactly.
Steal everyone's.
Now you've got to be like, is there like a meditation like used to like develop more gray matter in the placebo center or something? I don't know.
There's a placebo for it though.
Okay.
So it has sort of like exponential returns.
But that is an interesting idea, though, if there's a way to just particularly stimulate growth of the placebo center. If, like, you actually do have just, like, a placebo part of your brain. And it's worth noting that this is specifically in terms of pain response. So this is not necessarily something for, depression, anxiety, or neurological problems or anything else.
Or board games.
I mean, it's not to say that it's not. It's just that this study was not trying to reproduce things outside of there. It's just, hey, I feel less pain. So it could be something unique to that, but who knows?
Sure.
But yeah,
I don't know. I know nothing about the placebo effect except that it always works all the time.